The chapel was alive with whispers, only temporarily hushed by the organ's chords. My heart thudded erratically beneath the layers of white silk and lace as I made my way down the aisle. The congregation turned, a sea of familiar faces. I could feel their anticipation mingling with my own, rising like the summer heat in the small, crowded church. But as I neared the altar, my feet faltering on the hem of hope, he wasn't there. That empty place, where he was supposed to stand with a smile that promised a life of shared dreams, was now an agonizing chasm of solitude and shame. There was no note and no words spoken between us in those final, frantic days. He simply disappeared, leaving me to wrestle with the stunned expressions and silent judgments from those gathered. As the reality took its full, breath-stealing shape, I stumbled backward. My mother reached out, but I pulled away, footsteps echoing off walls that should have contained love's sacred vows. In the days that followed, I shed the trappings of my old life like the layers of my forsaken dress. I packed a suitcase with trembling hands, yet carried with me the heavier, unseen baggage of betrayal and wounded pride. I fled to the coast, renting a small, weather-beaten cottage by the sea. The waves were a comfort, each crash a reminder of the persistence of life, despite the storms it faces. I spent my days lost in work, turning the mundane into the rhythm of distraction, and each evening I walked the shoreline, letting the wind carry away the sobs I could no longer stifle. Time dragged me through its tides, and seasons shifted around my quiet solitude. Slowly, I allowed myself to feel again, not the raw, exposed nerves of heartache, but the gentle stirrings of renewal. I took up painting, found solace in colors that spoke where words failed. Each stroke was an act of reclaiming, redefining who I was beyond the shadow he cast on me. I learned to bend without breaking, forging strength not from bitterness, but from an acceptance that my worth was not his to define. Friends, scattered by the currents of my departure, reached out tentatively, like ships signaling in the fog. I embraced them one by one, forming bonds made resilient through honesty and kindness. Years swept in with the tide, bringing the whisper of a summons back home. A wedding, a joyful friend pleading for my presence, daring me to step into the world I'd left behind. An old wound reopened, but no longer bleeding, marked only by a scar of what had been. The town was aglow with the golden hues of a late autumn afternoon as I arrived. Eyes turned my way again, but this time, I faced them. Where shame once burned, confidence now glowed. I had grown into the question of who I was without him and found the answer more vibrant than I had imagined. I approached the church, feeling the texture of time in every footfall. Inside, the air was a mellow hum of excitement and whispered well wishes. My friend stood where I once did, radiating joy from beneath her veil. As her eyes met mine, she beamed a warmth that wrapped around me like a cherished memory. I could see him there, seated further back, his eyes finding mine in a moment that stretched between our shared past and my hard-earned present. There was surprise and something else, a flicker of regret perhaps, but he was not my reckoning. I turned away, my heart steady, forgiving him silently, more for myself than for any semblance of our fractured history. The ceremony unfolded in harmonious echoes of what love could be when allowed to flourish unfettered. I stood there a witness to joy, realizing it was the act of letting go that let me return whole. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the church's ancient stones, I walked back into the world, now my own. The night air was cool against my cheeks, whispering a song of renewal that I had learned to sing on my lonely beaches. The past lay behind, a stepping stone to where I stood, a place of strength, resilience, and self-love. In the distance, the sea roared softly, a familiar friend as I smiled towards a future crafted with my own hands, my own heart. I was free, not from what had happened, but because of what lay within me, undaunted and unbroken by life's shifting sands.